Promise of mobile is deeper customer engagement. Your customers are out there. How do you reach them? I spoke with some of the leading brands about their challenges in mobile consumer adoption. Just like you, they're still trying to figure it out. So, I mean, ultimately, mobile, because of mobile, how have you been able to deeper engage with a customer? Because it just seems like there's a clear delineation between the product that you're selling and the end customer. They're either a Coca-Cola brand lover or not. Are you able to extend into?
Well, we think so. So, I mean, one of the first jobs of the Coca-Cola company is every year, every generation, is to recruit a new generation of drinkers to Coca-Cola. Yeah. And again, some simple math that doesn't really hold up when you scrutinize it, but it does help make the point is, today we have 1.7 billion servings of our products every day. Compare that, though, against whatever number you're walking around with, 5.8, 5.96 billion SIMs. So that's a lot of consumers with a mobile phone, but no Coke. So when you think about, how can we simply put, a Coke in the hand of those with a phone, but not consuming our product? So you think about trial. Think about extending the value of a consumer's experience, whether they're at a rock show, whether they are at a football match, hanging out with friends, enjoying a meal with their family, and a Coca-Cola. What can we do that is only possible with the inclusion of Coca-Cola into the equation? So exclusive behind-the-scenes content delivered via video to your device when you're hanging out with your friends and you want to impress them. An inspirational message from your favorite musician at the end of a hard day of school, right? That Coke can make that happen because we have these real-world experiences and relationships that we're able to bring to consumers, in many cases, directly to their hands through a handset.
So, big picture here, what are the 2 or 3 biggest challenges you have in customer engagement as the Coca-Cola company? Is there something that stands out?
Yeah, so scale in the mobile space is one barrier, and I think it's holding back some of the investment that some members of the mobile ecosystem would like to see coming from brands. I think we can safely declare that we are well beyond the year of mobile. It's here. It's happening.
You'll go on record as saying that it's here.
It was there. Yeah, it was there, and it's in the rearview mirror. We're moving down the field. But what I don't think we see are mobile-led campaigns that are reaching across geographic boundaries. They're hard to scale. And while that may not be a challenge for most marketers, that not everybody is a multinational, not everybody aspires to market their products on a global basis, but for those who do, they tend to have the bigger marketing budgets. It's very difficult to scale. Capability building is the second area that I think is a challenge. Agencies, enablers who understand how to make things work in a big company environment, with privacy. Security, scalability, it's got to work. We can't bring down other systems because we have a little glitch in someplace else. Our marketers are very talented, but also responsible for a tremendous amount of business. And mobile is not something that can be added by staying at work 15 more minutes. You really need to be able to rely on people around you to understand the appropriate role for mobile and how to make it successful. And then I would say finally, well, maybe there are 2 more. One is an economic model that works for brands like Coke, right? We're not a digital good, we're a real world good. So influencing and participating in hard goods transactions is different from participating in digital transactions, and we need to figure out how to make that work. And then finally is the whole realm of measurement and outcomes, not just outputs, not just an output like a page view or a download or a session. Did I sell another? Did I sell more than I might have as a result of this investment?
So it's not just shifting dollars from from cash or a transaction. It's actually, or from views or awareness from a billboard or an ad. It's actually moving the needle ahead. It's not just taken from somewhere else.
Well, I don't think we should shy away from that opportunity. When, again, that consumer is able to buy a product with a phone, imagine what happened upstream from that. What can we manage downstream from that? And what does that quote-unquote funnel look like? So in some ways, brands like Coca-Cola, I suggest, need to begin to think not just as brand marketers, but in a way as direct marketers too. They need to understand on what the, if you will, the contours of that funnel look like. How many consumers at the top end and at what cost drove the kind of lifetime value that the business needs to see. So we're not there yet, but I don't think we should shy away from that as a goal.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for everybody. So getting promotion in an app store is really effective, but it's not always possible. So we have to pick and choose what apps we build, not build more apps than we need, build enough apps so that we've got we're hitting the right audiences. But it's a real challenge. We use our other channels to help drive people into our apps. So if you are on an iPhone and you go to one of our mobile websites and view a video page or a show page of one of those pages, we'll detect that you're on an iPhone and we'll link you into iTunes to download an app if we have one. So we use those channels. We also use SMS. We know that we have to get people who are already engaged with that content and then offer them something that's maybe more interactive than what they have, and often that's apps.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because even a brand like yours, working with a brand like Apple, or they're very democratic on the way that they promote applications, right? So it doesn't matter if you're MTV or me. You get the same kind of treatment, which is good and bad, I suppose.
Yeah.
Good for everybody else, bad for MTV.
Yeah, I mean, awareness is one. I think just having end users, the marketers, understand what's available. There's a lot of education. Yeah. There's a lot of use cases that have to happen that you can show the results on. I think the second is fragmentation. When you're sitting with a marketing team that's probably got 7 to 10 tactics going simultaneously, you only get so much love, and so getting high on the radar cross section is important. I mean, there are a lot more marketing teams now spending more time looking on the engagement level. One of the biggest things that some of the major loyalty companies, the agencies that we work with, are looking at is mobile engagement, and they're looking at SMS. They're trying to figure out how do we interact in a real-time way with our customers. What's the best way to do that? We're now looking at SMS as a way to do that. Right. I think one of the challenges is that you can't change life overnight. Things take time. And there's always a sea of misinformation. I mean, you can spend a lot of time talking about how great this app is, and you need a mobile internet, and you need all these other things. Well, you probably do need all those things, but there's different tools for different problems.
Absolutely.
And so for us, those are the challenges we face every day.
Certainly, scale is one challenge. For example, the CNN mobile products are very heavy traffic sites. And the CNN business model is a breaking news model. Right. So we see spikes on our mobile properties that are huge in comparison to what the average traffic is. And the average traffic is significant and constantly growing. Yeah. So, we have to, CNN lives and dies by the breaking news spike. And the mobile products and technologies and infrastructure we have in place have to make sure that they're living at that spike. Yeah. So, that dynamic exists across other categories of Turner as well. Sports is a good example. Yeah. So being there when it counts, when the event happens, whether it's planned in the case of sports or breaking news, especially as, with how dynamic this industry is and how much it's growing, it's really difficult to look forward and predict based on
breaking news.
Well, that's especially
it's very difficult to do that.
That's challenging.
That's a whole other business.
Yeah, but the traffic's growing so much across the board that just because you had this event last year, March Madness, and you saw this kind of usage with these kind of mobile products. Well, a year later, the quantity and complexity of the products that we have in place, as well as the size and demands of the audience, have changed dramatically. That's really hard to plan.
But I mean, your audience is growing, though, obviously in the mobile world. But you said yourself you've got hundreds of apps that are out there. What's that challenge of being 100 in a sea of a million when it comes to these independent brands? How are you resolving that issue about discoverability in those apps?
Well, again, I guess I'll go back to each brand being pretty unique, and the goal of a particular mobile product for a given brand is unique and could be dramatically different than the goal of another product for another brand. We talk about a multi-platform perspective on content. At a company like ours, where our core business is broadcasting of television networks, we're not necessarily focused on a single platform at one point in time. So while it'd be great to have a suite of mobile products or a mobile product that independently brought in a positive return, or a mobile business within a brand that was independently bringing in a positive return, I think this is a more strategic activity for us. So our goal is to grow the size of our audience overall, both in terms of size, reach, and engagement.
Okay.
So mobile technologies, mobile products play a unique role in doing that. But if we can grow the engagement of our core linear television business using a mobile product that maybe on its own isn't generating margin, we can move the needle on billions of dollars in revenue over here.